I think I'm gonna grab this one. They have these really gorgeous ones that look like mermaid scales. A lot more watering cans to choose from here at Marshall's. So I decided to post them on Facebook Marketplace to see if I can recoup some of the money for the new planters that I purchased.
Hi, it's Steph, and today we're gonna do a couple more spring things. Well, the weather in all of March was pretty rainy and cold. We only had the sun come out about 4 times. So we are a little behind on gardening cleanup, some edging, and some things that I wanted to get completed. But I have this cluster of spring blooming pots here on either side of my porch. I have mentioned on a couple of occasions that I was really inspired by Klaus Dalby, who has an amazing display of spring blooming bulbs in clusters of pots all around his garden. And a couple of years ago, I started doing that on a smaller scale. But I had a few more pots here last year that I've since repurposed in my rose ICU. I had to pot up some roses to nurse them back to health. And so I'm down a couple of pots. And I would really like to have a little bit of a fuller arrangement because I'm growing pansies from seed as well as alyssum. And I'm going to need a place to pot them or to plant them. So let's go out and look for a couple of more planters. I don't want to spend a ton of money. So I'm going to try to look at some of the discount stores like Ocean State Job Lot, which is a chain here in the Northeast. Maybe Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, those types of places to see if I can find a couple of affordable options to add to my cluster of pots on either side of my porch. So we're going to do that. I have some peony rings to put out because the peonies are now popping out of the soil a couple of inches. So it's time to get those out and a couple of other small things. So let's go ahead and hang out today and have a day of doing some gardening related things. Our Dactymeral magnolia is starting to bloom. This is a really beautiful white magnolia and has really fragrant blooms. And it's always the earliest blooming tree in our garden at the very beginning of April. And when this blooms, I know it's the kickoff to the new gardening season, kind of like the opening day in baseball. It makes me really excited. All of the greens for our tulips and daffodils are up, and those will probably bloom in the next month or so. And there is tons of cleanup to do. So if it's drier in April, hopefully we can get out here and start doing all of our cleanup and mulching. I came out here to check in the shed if I have any planters that I can use in the front porch clustered pots project. And of course, I got stopped in my tracks by the magnolia. But you can see that we have now moved out all of the plants that we had overwintered in the shed. We had the roses as well as Japanese maples. And now that our temperatures are more consistently above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, those have now gone outside to get acclimated and also to get watered by the rain. But I do have an extra planter. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and add to that grouping in the front porch. Here are all the roses and the Japanese maples, as well as that tricolored beech that we overwintered. So everything's looking really good, but it was starting to get a little bit warm in there, and these roses are a lot more ahead than the ones that we have out in the garden. So it was time to get them outside to kind of slow them down a tiny bit. But I am going to go ahead and top up these pots. I have this bag of soil that I picked up last season that I didn't get to use that was in the shed. It's the Coast of Maine Roses and Flowers planting soil. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to top these up, all of the roses, and I'm going to give them some rose tone fertilizer because I want these roses to thrive and not just survive. So I want them to really get a boost. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions for how I can really get these roses in good health this season, I would love that. All right, let's go ahead and put up a peony support. This one here is actually the Sarah Bernhardt peony that I had growing in my front walkway border, but it was getting hidden by my knockout roses, and I really wanted to enjoy the blooms and be able to see them. And in this spot, I'll be able to see them from my kitchen window. So I survived the transplant because it's coming through the soil, which is always a good sign. And now I'm just going to get this support positioned so that it can grow nice and upright. There you go. You just kind of look at the center of the plant and put the grid with the peony in the center and hope for the best. There's always going to be the outlier branches, but for the most part, these work really well. That's it. A couple more to put up. I just got this one positioned here in my front retaining wall bed, and I'm actually short a couple of these. So when we get over to Ocean State Job Lot, I'm going to pick up a couple more. I went to put that planter down and I realized that one of these daffodils is already getting ready to bloom. So these might even bloom sooner than I'm expecting, but I think that's going to look really nice there. So now I'm going to see, I don't know how many pots I'm going to pick up. It all depends what I can find, but I'm thinking maybe something for over there, maybe like another 2 on this side. So I end up with like 7 altogether. And because, you know, things look better in odd numbers, right? And on this side I have 4, so maybe 3. So if I can find about 4, maybe, you know, anywhere from 8 to 12 inch planters, I think it'll look really nice. So let's go see what we can find. First stop, Ocean State Job Lot, which is a chain that we have here in the Northeast. And here are the plant supports for the peonies. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 of these. They're a little bit bigger than the ones that I currently have, but I think they'll be great. And I can just move them around because I have some that are younger, that are a little bit smaller. So I'll use these for my larger, more mature ones. And I can use the smaller ring for the smaller ones. I have a 16-inch leg and a 24-inch grow through. So here we are in an aisle full of terracotta, and this is the best place that I've found for affordable terracotta pots. And I see this cutie here, which is in the shade of taupe, kind of like a tan gray, which would match the arrangement that I have on my porch. So I think I'm going to grab this one. It looks to be about an 8-inch planter, and it's only $6. So this is really good quality and a great price for terracotta pots, or this one here in a pottery material. They have lots of plastic pots too, but we're going to look around a little bit more and see what else we can find. They have some smaller 6-inch pot ones too, and they have some in that taupe gray color and in the terracotta color as well. I don't see a price on the small one, but I'm guessing it's around $4 because it seems like there's a $2 price difference between the sizes as they go down in size. But look at these here with this pretty detail. So if you're looking for planters and you're in the Northeast, Ocean State Job Lot is a good option. And I see some more of the same style that I just picked up in there. So let me see if I can grab one more. These are some really pretty rectangular shaped terracotta planters, and these are $20. But look at the detail on those. So pretty. They have lots of options for plastic pots too, and some of them are quite nice looking. You can see here these urn planters, which is great because once you fill your planters with soil, they can get quite heavy. So having them be plastic is a good option. And this one here is really nice. This is a really large urn planter. It's $49.99, and I took a look and there's already drain holes in them, which is great. So you don't have to worry about putting them in. And you might even be able to make more drain holes with those plugs there. And these are pretty and detailed as well. It's a nice looking pot also. So far so good. I've found a couple. Let me see if there's anything else. We'll take a look at their glazed ceramic pots because they have quite a few of those also. Look at these. Such pretty pots. I love that green one there. It says glazed planters at closeout prices. And even these really large planters at the bottom here, $28. And that looks to be maybe a 17-inch planter or so. So really great prices on these large glazed ceramic planters here at Ocean State Job Lot. Some pretty cobalt blues. They also have some of these galvanized tins, which would look really pretty planted up with some spring flowers. And over time, it's possible that they would rust from being outside. So while they look really cute, I don't think they would be a good long-term option for a planter. But look at the head planters. I find these so interesting, and I'm still on the hunt for one for my garden. Now, these aren't quite in the style that I like, but they still have head planters. Those smaller ones are $14.99. That one as well. That one's $19.99 actually. And these larger ones are $19.99. So a great price for an interesting piece for the garden. And $40 for a glazed ceramic bird bath.
with the top and bottom in some really pretty colors that match all of the pots. They have some pot feet too. They're out of that glazed ceramic material and they're $5. And a lot of these colors coordinate with the pots that they have. Like that would look nice under that pot. They even have the glazed ceramic saucers. And then these pot feet also come in blue and this green, which is really pretty. Look at that, it matches this one here. Now pot feet are great because they'll elevate your pot. So you place these underneath, they will leave a little bit of a gap between your pot and the floor, which will help with drainage, but also will help from those little pill bugs that get underneath your planters from getting into your soil. So these serve a great purpose and they're nice looking. I've decided on 3 of these clay pots that have this pretty scalloped edge detail. It says that they're made in Italy, and I originally thought these were 8-inch planters. They're actually 9.8, so they're basically a 10-inch planter. So I'm going to go ahead and pick these up to add to my front porch spring arrangement. I couldn't find any saucers to match the clay pots, but they have a bunch of these plastic ones, the clear plastic. So I found these 8-inch ones that are going to work, and I'm going to grab 3 of them, and they're 85 cents each. But these are a great option too because they're clear. You won't really see them, and you have something to catch the water under your planter. I'm kind of liking these planters here. They look like birch logs to me. So they have like that texture and they look kind of natural. And I think the colors, because they're neutral, will coordinate with the pots I currently have. And I like that they're lightweight. So I'm gonna consider those as well. Stop number 2, Marshall's. So let's see what kind of pots or any cute garden items we can find here. As soon as I walk in, they already have some really pretty pots. Look at that one. These are like a terracotta, aged terracotta look, clay pots. Their stuff is very similar to what we saw at TJ Maxx last week. Look at this. I love these blue and white pots. So we saw that one over at TJ Maxx. It was $24.99 there. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same price here. Yep. And then look at this cute small one. This look pretty with a small plant in it, maybe even a succulent. And then they have these really gorgeous ones that look like mermaid scales. Look at that, and that really beautiful green. So pretty. And they have the watering cans from the British Gardening Company. I picked up one just like that at TJ Maxx. And they are also $16.99 here. So cute. I love that light blue one with the spout, and lots of options for white pots. So I'm still on the lookout for a white planter for my spider plant for inside. I have lots to choose from, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look. Okay, I really like this one. I like the pattern on it or the texture of it. It's white, like a creamy white, and it says that it's frost resistant, which is great because if you're going to leave these planters outside, that's a really important feature because in general, these pots, anything that's clay, pottery, ceramic, if you leave it outside with the frost thaw cycle, they have a tendency to crack and then you'll lose your planter. And they also have drain holes, which is really good. And this one here is $19.99. It looks like it could be a 12 to 14 inch size. And then they also have the small matching one. Whenever I see a set, I can never decide which size I want to get, especially if it's a cute pot that I really like. Look at this, they have saucers with casters, so it makes it easier to move your plants around. But these are a tin material, so over time with water, and if you use these outside, they're probably going to rust. So probably best to stick with something like plastic as far as the saucer goes. But the casters are a nice option to move around heavy pots. Some pretty wind chimes, the beaded design with some birds and a bell at the end. And then this one here. This one's real pretty too. A lot more watering cans to choose from here at Marshall's than they had at TJ Maxx. And I just bought one, so I can't get another for now. But very tempting because these are adorable. Look at that. And look, I found some of those basket planters that are made in this plastic material to make it weatherproof. And this one's $24.99, great size. And you wouldn't have to use the fabric cloth bags or the grow bag liners that I used because they come with a plastic insert. But you would have to drill some drain holes in it. But these are great because they have a really nice texture, this basket look, and they're weatherproof. They have this one here, and there's this one here that's even on feet. Look at that, on a stand. And another basket planter. This one is huge. Look how pretty that is. Oh, and another. This one is $14.99. Looks like maybe 8 to 10 inches. And that's a pretty big one. I would have to guess this is about a 15 to 17 inch planter. I don't see a price on this one, but they do have some basket planters similar to the one that I purchased at TJ Maxx a few years ago. I found a couple more basket planters here at Marshall's and some plant stands. So they do get them occasionally. These are just a little bit different than the ones I had because they already come with a liner, which is actually a good thing. You would just have to make drain holes. These are actually that basket material, so these would have to be for indoor house plants. They wouldn't be weather safe outside. They would start to break down. But I noticed that there is a plug for a drain hole, so you just have to open that up. But these plastic ones here are great for outdoors. All right, I ultimately decided against this one because my spider plant needs a taller pot because they send down all of those little spider babies, and I need something with height so that it can drape down. So either I'm going to find a plant stand for it or a taller pot. This one here is taller, but I just don't really like the pattern on it. I would prefer it to be more plain. But that is sort of the idea of what I'm looking for, so that the spider plant can sort of drape downward.
Well, I am back home from shopping, and after going to Ocean State Job Lot and to Marshall's, I was done shopping for pots. There was plenty to choose from, so I think I picked up some pretty good ones and at reasonable prices. So let me share with you what I got. I ended up picking up those 3 that we saw that I had pretty much decided on, and these are beautiful clay pots. They're this nice like tan taupe color, and they're actually made in Italy. And a lot of times Ocean State Job Lot, they're just getting closeouts from other stores, so this must have been sold somewhere at some point. But these were $6 each, so that was great. Nice and heavy too. Then I found this white one, and it's like a glazed ceramic, and it has like a terracotta color on the inside. And I thought that it coordinated nicely with the colors that I have out here. And I currently have 2 white planters, so I thought bringing in this third would kind of balance things out. And this one was $9. And I'm going to tell you the price because I love when people show things that they buy and how much they were. I just find it interesting. So anyhow, that's what we're doing. And then I found this pot, which is another like terracotta type pot made out of clay or pottery. And it's a 10-inch pot, Pennington. I actually had bought one of these before at like Home Depot or Lowe's. So I'm pretty sure that's probably where they were sold before. And this one was only $4, which was awesome. And then I found these, and these are the last ones that I had showed you when we were at Ocean State Job Lot. And what I liked about them was that they kind of look like birch logs to me. Like they have sort of like a faux wood appearance. I think they call that faux bois in French for faux wood. And they look like birch trunks, and I like that they're lightweight because once you fill planters up with soil, they can get pretty heavy. There's also a plug at the bottom that I can remove, so they already have drainage in them. And these were only $12, and they're a pretty good size planter. So I thought that the colors looked really nice together. They will coordinate, I think, with the ones I currently have. So I'm gonna go ahead and place them and see what things look like. So tell me, what do you think of the placement? I'm pretty happy with them for now. Who knows, I might rearrange them at some point once I start potting them up. But all in all, I think that the colors coordinate really nicely. I like that I have sort of an odd number on each side. Like our house is very symmetrical, so anytime that I do anything, it's always very even, like one on this side, one on that side. But I did want to go for an odd number, so I ended up with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, look at that. I thought I had 7 on each side. Turns out I have 8. So here we are again with the even Stevens. But all in all, I think that because I put 1 and then 3, 2 and 2, it kind of like balances things and they're different sizes. So I'm happy with it. And they were all really affordable. So for all of the planters that I picked up today, I spent in total around $55, which wasn't terrible. And now I'll just have to fill them up with some soil and some plants, which I'm also going to go to a local nursery and see if I can find some plants that I can add to these planters, probably in a few weeks once it warms up a little bit more. Some of the alyssum that I'm growing and the pansies, I'm hoping those will be ready in about a month so that we can use those as well. And I really like candy tuft. I bought some last year or the year before and I had used it in my planters in the spring and then I planted it out in the landscape. But if I can find candy tuft, which is a perennial, I might pick up a couple of those as well to fill up these planters. So tell me, what are your thoughts on having clusters of planters together? Is it something that you do in your own garden? It's something that I've only been doing for the last 2 or 3 seasons, but I really like it. I don't know if it's because we have these tiered steps that they just provide a little bit of visual interest when you're walking up, and I just think it looks really pretty.
I had these planters in my shed that I haven't used in a couple of seasons, so I decided to post them on Facebook Marketplace to see if I can recoup some of the money for the new planters that I purchased. And I already have a couple of people that are interested. So this is the time, friends. If you have anything that you're not using for the garden, there are people who are looking. So go ahead and get them posted and make yourself some extra plant money.
So we will get these planted up in a few weeks. We'll do them together in an upcoming video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button. And please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos. And we'll see you soon.